How about them Detroit Lions? Are you kidding me? Man, what a great way to end Week 17, man. The Lions get their revenge against those 49ers from last year's matchup from the 2023 NFC Championship game, and they got the job done. Lions win 40-34. It was an entertaining battle all the way through. Yeah, 49ers, they might be 6-9 and eliminated from the playoffs, but they gave it their all against the Detroit Lions defense, obviously still banged up like most of the year, right? So 40-34, Lions, a much needed victory because, you know, the Green Bay Packers, they're not good for anything. They're useless. They couldn't help us out, right? They couldn't beat the Vikings to possibly to give us a number 1 seed. So now we got to handle it ourselves. Next Sunday night, Vikings, Lions, winner not only wins the NFC North, but the winner wins the number 1 seed for the NFC for the playoffs. So yeah, entertaining matchup last night. Lions win 40-34. Obviously, like I mentioned, it's a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. We had the lead, 17 points at halftime. We ended up losing 34-31. We don't talk about that game. That was a long time ago. That's in the past. We're focused on now. We have to win against Minnesota next Sunday night. And with this victory for the Lions, it's their first victory at San Fran since 1975. I wasn't even born yet. Almost 50 years since the last time we beat San Fran in San Francisco. So great, like I said, a much needed win. People were like, oh, this game doesn't really matter. No, it does. And it did, obviously, because the 49ers came at us with everything they had. We just did enough to get the victory. And, we needed it. So that was awesome to see that. And then Jared Goff, once again, another great game from this guy. 26 of 34, 303 yards and three touchdowns. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, 18 carries, 117 yards, 1 touchdown. He's been carrying the load ever since David Montgomery got hurt a few weeks ago. So the running game, awesome. Jared Goff doing great. But that defense, man, you give up almost 400 yards in offense. That's not good. I get it. Our defense is depleted. Most of our stars are out. 6 were on IR as of yesterday. So, but you have to play defense when it comes playoff time. You have to play defense. Defense is key to success in the playoffs. The Lions need to wake up. They need this victory against the Vikings next Sunday night. I cannot stress it enough. We have to beat the Vikings at home to get that number 1 seed and to win the NFC North title back-to-back years. So Aaron Glenn needs to come up with something, man, because what I saw last night against a 6-9 49ers team, having over 400 yards in offense, that's not good, brother. And for them to score 34 points too, just like look a couple weeks ago against the Bills, they scored 48, and that's a great offense, right? One of the best in the business. So the Lions defense needs to figure something out. They just figure it out. I don't care. So yeah, some other stats. We got to involve the 49ers too, because there's a lot of key players who did well last night. Ricky Pearsall, 8 catches, 141 yards, 1 touchdown. He had a great game. George Kittle, obviously one of the best tight ends in the league today. 8 catches, 112 yards, no touchdowns, but he had a decent night. Brock Purdy, making a case for an extension with the 49ers. He wants to get paid. He might after this performance, even though he lost, but he looked really good. 27 of 35, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns, and those 2 interceptions, the only blemish on his performance last night, in my opinion. Obviously, Kirby Joseph with those 2 interceptions. That guy's a beast. We'll get more into him in a couple seconds here. But yeah, Brock Purdy, he wants to stay in San Fran. He wants to get paid. Who doesn't if you're a quarterback in the NFL? These quarterbacks are getting paid millions and millions of dollars, man. I mean, yeah, you are the franchise. You are a protected asset. I mean, you have to have a quarterback, obviously, in the NFL, especially in today's NFL. You need a quarterback. So we'll see this offseason, since the 49ers are eliminated from the playoffs. They've been eliminated since last week. We'll see if Brock Purdy gets that extension, but, obviously besides those 2 interceptions, I thought he did well, and that offensive line did great. I mean, most of the game, and then towards the end of the game, Brock Purdy was getting hit, he was getting sacked. Our defense finally found out, oh, okay, we need to rush the quarterback. Oh, okay, we need to get a pass rush and get some sacks. Oh, that's how you play defense. Great. So, Brock Purdy, man, yeah, he looked good. He looked good. We'll see if he gets extended this offseason. Kerby Joseph, as I mentioned a couple seconds ago, 2 interceptions this game. That's 9 on the season, which leads the entire NFL. This guy's a stud. One of our best players, if not the best players on that defense right now. Kerby Joseph, hell of a game. He had a handful of tackles last night, 6 of them, I do believe, along with those 2 interceptions. So, Kerby Joseph, keep doing what you're doing, brother. I mean, stay healthy. We definitely need you Sunday against the Vikings. But, yeah, that was a great performance by Kerby Joseph last night. And then this is the 5th game for the Detroit Lions. This is the 5th game for the Lions this season where they scored 40-plus points and had 0 turnovers, which is the most all-time in NFL history. Think about that for a second. 5 games this season, right? You have 17 games on the season. You know, this is the NFL, 32 teams. The Lions scored 40-plus points in those 5 games. 0 turnovers, including this one last night against San Fran, which is most in NFL history. That's insane. I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, like I said, it seems like every week the Lions are breaking records or setting records. Right there, dude. 40-plus points, 0 turnovers. That's great. You know, our offense is the best in the NFL. We're averaging 33.3 points per game. Great. But now our defense needs to wake up because we do not have the greatest defense. We're like the top 15. I think we're ranked like 9th or 19th rather in defense. So yeah, we gotta start waking up a little bit. I mean, you know, like I said earlier, against a 6-9 team, banged up all season. I'm talking about the 49ers. You give up 400-plus yards in offense, and then you give up 34 points on the road. You can't do that. You cannot do that. So, offense, keep doing what you're doing. Our defense needs to wake up for Sunday night because let me tell you something. Those Minnesota Vikings look absolutely phenomenal right now, and their defense is top 4 in the NFL. So, Sam Darnold's been killing teams, and they're scoring points. Their defense will destroy you too. So the Lions definitely just need to get their heads out of their asses. They need to get a game plan going, and they need to win. So also with this victory for the Detroit Lions, they are undefeated. They are undefeated. They finished undefeated on the road this season. The last team to do that was the 2020 Kansas City Chiefs team. So 8-0, awesome. You know, went away from home and won. And that's key to success. You have to win on the road against tough teams, against teams in general. So 8-0, they finished it off on the season for the Detroit Lions on the road. So good for them. But yeah, this game was really exciting. Great way to end Week 17. Now we got to go into Week 18. It's going to be an exciting one. So Lions and 49ers. Hope you guys checked that one out. It was a very entertaining matchup there. So, yeah, 40-34, the Lions win. Finished undefeated on the road this season. So, you got that. And then we had some Christmas games. Surprisingly, the streaming was good. You know how I said last week that the streaming was going to be crap? Well, streaming on Netflix, these couple of games on Christmas, not that bad. However, the games themselves were god-awful. Trash. Absolutely boring. Like, no excitement at all, right? I mean, the Chiefs winning 29-10 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, you know, usually a good defense. They didn't show up this game. So you had that game. That was the first game. And then the Ravens blow out the Texans. Texans look horrible. The fact that they clinched their division is unbelievable. I mean, yeah, that is a pretty bad division. I mean, you got the Colts, you got the Jaguars who are god-awful. You got the Titans who are absolutely disgusting. 9-7, but you know how they've been playing the past few weeks. You know, C.J. Stroud, sophomore slump perhaps. It's just not looking really good for the Texans right now. They get blown out in this game, 31-2. So they got a safety, but man, you know, Ravens, you know, Lamar Jackson, you know how that goes, right? Derrick Henry, forget about it. And then you had the Thursday night game. You know, can't forget about that Thursday night game. This is a really exciting one. You want to know what the final score for this one was? Seahawks 3, Bears or Seahawks 6 rather, excuse me, Bears 3. 6-3. After 4 quarters of football, 60 minutes, that's what we got on Thursday Night Football. This is a hockey score. This is a baseball score. And you usually don't see this in the NFL, especially in today's NFL where teams are at least scoring 30 points a game. 6-3. That's what we got on Thursday night. Yeah. Thank you, NFL, for putting that on display. Disgusting. So you had that Thursday night, and then Saturday you had 3 games. Chargers blowing out the Patriots 40-7. I mean, that Patriots team, forget about it. Just think about next year, all right? Chargers, though, Jim Harbaugh, first year, leading his team to the playoffs. They clinched their playoffs, a playoff berth. So exciting to see that. That's how he rolls. It seems like everywhere he goes. Chargers didn't do good last year, missed the playoffs. This year, they're doing really well, and they're making the playoffs. He did it with San Fran many years ago. They didn't make the playoffs. They had a losing record. They were absolute garbage. The following year, they're going to the NFC Championship game. Michigan, 2014, they were horrible. The following year, 2015, they win 10 games. So, first year Harbaugh, I guess we can call him first year Harbaugh. He knows how to turn that team around. So, good for the Chargers. Like to see them in the playoffs. I like Justin Herbert. He's a good player. He had 3 touchdowns in this game, 281 yards, 26 for 38. So, if he stays healthy, because that ankle's been bothering him, or a foot injury. He had a foot injury this offseason, so, or before the season started. So, yeah, as long as he can stay healthy, that's great. And then J.K. Dobbins, he was hurt most of the year this year. If he can stay healthy too, Ladd McConkey. That's Justin Herbert's favorite target. 8 receptions, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns in this game. But yeah, Chargers blowing out the Patriots. Forget about it. It's over. So you had that. The Bengals winning against the Broncos at home, 30-24. Broncos usually have a good defense. Not in this game. Joe Burrow, another great game from this guy. 39 for 49. Seems like this guy's throwing 50-plus times a game. 412 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he gets a victory. So good for him. T. Higgins had a big game. 11 receptions, 131 yards, 3 touchdowns. So if you had him in your fantasy league, because this is the championship week for fantasy, if you had him, you're looking pretty damn good right now. So T. Higgins, big game there. And then the Cardinals and the Rams. That was the last game on Saturday night. 13-9 for the Rams. Rams win at home. The Cardinals, they were already eliminated from the playoffs, so they were playing for pride at this point. But yeah, the Rams, clinching their division. So you had that going on. And then obviously the rest of Sunday's matchups, you had the Bills dominating the Jets, the Battle of New York, 40-14. The Bills undefeated at home, 8-0. Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things, winning, right? The 16 for 27, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then James Cook, 15 carries, 53 yards, 1 touchdown. And I think that's a part of the offense for the Buffalo Bills that we don't talk about, the running game. I mean, Josh Allen, great. He's probably going to win the MVP, right? But we got to remember James Cook, too. James Cook, great. I mean, that offense is looking really good right now for the Buffalo Bills. Watch out in Kansas City. I know Josh Allen's never beaten Patrick Mahomes in the postseason, but if they do play in the postseason this year, watch out, because this is a very dangerous Buffalo Bills team. So you had that. The Raiders beating the Saints on the road, 25-10. Saints not looking good at all. The Giants finally get their first win. It took 17 weeks, but they finally get their first win at home. They beat the Colts. Colts kind of, screwed themselves out of the playoffs. I don't think they can get in. We'll get into this playoff scenario in a couple of minutes, though. But, yeah, their chances are slim to none. They win at home. First win of the season for the Giants, 45-33. Joe Flacco for the Colts, he had a couple touchdowns. Malik Neighbors, the rookie from LSU, had a couple touchdowns, 7 receptions, 171 yards. But, yeah, congrats. Woo! Good job. Giants finally get that win at home. It took you 17 weeks, but better late than never, right? And then the Eagles going up against the Cowboys, the NFC East matchup. The Eagles blew out the Cowboys. The Cowboys looked absolutely horrible in this one. Eagles win 41-7. They are 13-3, 7-1 at home this year. Eagles very dangerous. When you have Saquon Barkley running the ball, that's a dangerous dude, man. You can't take him down. He's fast, he's quick, he's powerful, and he proved it against those Cowboys. So Eagles dominate that one. The Buccaneers dominate the Panthers. This is an NFC South matchup. A lot of division matchups this past week. Buccaneers win this one 48-10 or 48-14. Baker Mayfield 27 for 32, 359 yards, 5 touchdowns for this guy. So once again, if you have him for your fantasy league for the championship, you're looking good. So Baker Mayfield, stat machine. Reminds me of Matthew Stafford from so many years ago. So you have that. Jaguars winning at home against the Titans. Another matchup. AFC South. 20-13. Jaguars win this one. Dolphins beat the Browns 20-3 on the road. Helps their chance to possibly get a playoff spot. We'll get to that in a couple minutes. And then the game of the week, right? Fox, Green Bay. Really the only time I cheered for Green Bay this season, right? They had one job to do. One job, man. All you had to do was beat the Vikings on the road. I know, tough task. We did it, but that's all you had to do. But no, of course, if you want something done right, you just got to do it yourself. So we'll do it next Sunday. I mean, the Packers don't want to help us out. Fine. We don't need them. We'll go up against the Vikings at home, and we will beat them. But yeah, thank you, Green Bay, for being useless, right? Help us out a little bit. I mean, maybe you're still upset that we beat you twice this season. I don't know. It is what it is. Vikings win this one 27-25, but I think that score doesn't even reflect how the game went. This was all the Vikings. I mean, they dominated Green Bay. I mean, those 25 points, that was like garbage time. You see 15 points scored in the fourth quarter for the Packers. No, the Vikings had this one from the beginning. Sam Darnold, this guy, dude, his career resurrected, right? 33-43, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns. This guy, unbelievable. Good for him, though. But the Lions need to beat them next Sunday. And then Josh Jacobs for the Green Bay Packers, 17 carries, 69 yards, 1 touchdown. And then Justin Jefferson, he didn't have a touchdown in this game, but he was kind of active, 8 receptions for 92 yards. I think they're going to try to get him going against our depleted defense next Sunday. So Aaron Glenn, like I said earlier, you got to get a game plan going for that, bud, because it's going to be a long night if we can't figure that out. So we have that. And then the Sunday night football game went into overtime. 30-24. Michael Penix Jr. going up against Jayden Daniels. The battle of the rookies. 2 young guys, 2 great athletes. They both did well. Jayden Daniels got the better of Michael Penix Jr. 30-24. They win at home. The Falcons never got the ball back. It was all Washington Commanders. And yeah, maybe we can change that rule for regular season. I know the playoffs, each team gets a chance. Like if one team got the ball and scored a touchdown, the other team has an opportunity. But that's for playoffs only. I do believe they changed that a couple of years ago because that division matchup, the divisional round of the playoffs between the Bills and the Chiefs, one of the best football games of all time. Chiefs take it all the way down and score, and Buffalo's offense never saw the field, right? Yeah, kind of BS, right? Kind of crappy, kind of annoying to see that. So maybe for the regular season, maybe they can change that, because honestly, with how the Falcons came back and how Michael Penix Jr. was playing, I think the Falcons deserved a chance to get on the field. And yeah, you know what? I don't know. Hey, if you can't stop our offense, oh well. But I guess changing up a little bit, I know back in the day I said, if you can't stop our offense, that's your problem. Figure it out. Whoever wins. That's it. The other team shouldn't get a chance. But now I'm kind of changing a little bit. I'm changing my view on that, because it's good. It's for good football, right? Entertaining football. Michael Penix Jr., a rookie, gives him another opportunity to shine. But not in the regular season, only in the playoffs. So yeah, the Commanders win this one, 7-2. They're doing absolutely fantastic. Jayden Daniels, possible rookie of the year, 24 for 36, 227 yards. 3 touchdowns. So great game there. And then obviously Monday Night Football. Last night, the Lions win 40-34. Brock Purdy, as I mentioned, had 3 touchdowns. So did Jared Goff. Jahmyr Gibbs had a great night. Ricky Pearsall did well. But the Lions get their revenge against those 49ers. A much-needed victory for Detroit. And that was Week 17. Another wild week for NFL football. Now we got to hop over to Week 18. So no Thursday Night Football game this week. Week 18 is actually going to start Saturday. So Saturday, January 4th. Great way to open up the new year, 2025. We got division matchups, 2 division matchups. We got the Browns and the Ravens. I got the Ravens winning this one. You got the Bengals and the Steelers after that, 8 o'clock. Steelers are really struggling right now. They're not looking good. I like the Bengals in this one. But 2 division matchups there. And then Sunday, you got the Panthers and the Falcons. I like the Falcons in this one. Michael Penix Jr. looked really good on Sunday night. I think he carries that over to the Panthers, who been playing some decent football the past month or so. Even though they have a 4-12 record, they're looking a lot better than they did at the beginning of the year. That's for damn sure. So Falcons win this one at home. Commanders, Cowboys. Cowboys playing at home. Commanders looking too good right now. Jay Daniels, like I said, rookie of the year, 3,530 yards, 25 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. I think that's enough to win MVP. Commanders win this one, or rookie of the year rather. Commanders win this one against the Cowboys. Bears, Packers. Packers going to win this one at home. They bounced back from that defeat against the Vikings. They were so close, but yet they can't help out the Lions because I think they're still, crying and upset about the Lions beating them twice this season. But they're going to win this one because the Bears are god-awful. 0-7 on the road. Packers win this one. You got the Texans and the Titans division matchup here. Man, I don't know, because the Texans look god-awful right now. C.J. Stroud, he's got to do something, man. Turnover machine, fumbles. And the Titans, they're 3-13. I get it, but this is a division matchup. They're possibly looking to, maybe ruin Texans. I mean, even though they clinched the division, maybe possibly play spoiler in this one. But I will go with the Texans, but I'm not too confident in that pick. So you got that. The Jaguars and the Colts. I got the Colts in this one at home. Jaguars are god-awful. And then the Bills and the Patriots. Patriots playing at home. Bills actually struggled a couple weeks ago against these guys at Buffalo. So are things going to change since now they're playing in Massachusetts? I don't think so. I think the Bills are going to win this one. And then you got to think about it, too. It's the last week. Are all these teams that made the playoffs, all these teams that clinched their division, are they going to rest their starters? I mean, I know the Detroit Lions aren't because we have a lot going on. So if that's the case, I mean, I'm still going to go with the Bills, and all these other teams that made it to the playoffs because they might be resting starters, which is smart. They've been doing it for a long time now, ever since I've been watching football. But, times have changed too. The team can be undefeated. Playoff spot, you're protected, but we got the stars out there the last week of the regular season. I'm still gonna go with the Bills though, despite possible benching of the starters against the Patriots, or for the Bills against the Patriots. So I got the Bills winning this one. The Giants and the Eagles. Eagles winning this one at home. Like I said, they might bench stars. Jalen Hurts. I think he's still gonna be out. So Kenny Pickett's gonna pick up where he left off. He got hurt in this in last week's matchup against the Cowboys, so we'll see if he's available. But the Eagles are going to win this one against the Giants. Saints and Buccaneers. Buccaneers playing at home. I got the Buccaneers winning that one. The Chiefs and the Broncos. This is an interesting one. Chiefs got the number 1 seed. Obviously, they won their division. Does the Chiefs rest their starters? I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Because Broncos, I think they're trying to play for a playoff spot. Like I said, we'll get into the scenarios in a little bit. But the Chiefs winning this one on the road. Chargers and Raiders. I got the Chargers winning this one. They clinch a playoff spot. Might rest their stars. I don't think they will. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to keep on pushing. So Chargers win this one. Seahawks, Rams, division matchup. I think Seahawks might still have a possibility to make it to the playoffs, I do believe. They're 6-1 on the road. This is a division matchup. I think the Rams already clinched their division, if I'm not mistaken. The Seahawks win this one against the Rams. Dolphins, Jets. Dolphins, I do believe they need this win, and then they need some help to make it to the playoffs. Jets are horrible. I got the Dolphins winning this one. 49ers and Cardinals, two bad teams going at it. I'm going to go with the 49ers. They looked really good against the Lions last night, and I think they continued that success going into next Sunday. And then the biggest matchup of Week 18. There's a lot going on for this game, the Lions and the Vikings. So Lions and Vikings, Sunday night, 8:20 on NBC. Watch it. It's going to be awesome. The winner of this game not only wins the NFC North, but they get the number 1 seed for the playoffs. The Lions need to win this game. I cannot stress it enough. The Vikings are really good right now. Their defense allowing only 18.8 points per game, which is 4th in the NFL, behind Philly, behind Kansas City, and behind the best defense in the NFL, the Los Angeles Chargers. So we got to come out swinging. If we get the ball first, we got to score 6, not 3, 6. It's going to be that type of game. I think this is going to be a type of game. Whoever gets the ball last will win this game. It's going to be very tight. It's going to be exciting, right? Lots on the line for both teams. It's crazy that one of these teams is going to be a playoff team, or not win the number 1 seed despite having 14 wins, right? When it's all said and done. The Vikings are 6-1 on the road this year. That's phenomenal. The Lions are 6-2 at home, which is great too. But the Lions need to win this one. I got the Detroit Lions winning this battle against the Vikings. It's going to be tough. We have to shut down Justin Jefferson. We have to get to Sam Darnold, sack him, create that pressure. So like I said, Aaron Glenn, you're the defensive coordinator. You have to figure something out, my friend, because this Vikings team, they're on a mission. They remember that game from many weeks ago when we beat them in their house on a last second field goal. They're mad. They're going to want their revenge. We have to defend the Den. We have to defend the Motor City. Ford Field's our home. We don't let the Vikings come in and embarrass us. Lions win this one. Very close. It's going to be very exciting. Lots on the line. NFC North title, number 1 seed in the playoffs. Let's go Lions. Lions, baby. Win this one against the Vikings. Sunday Night Football, NBC, check it out. That's Week 18 for the NFL. Those are the Bryce's picks. So now we got to talk about the playoff picture. So playoff picture, lots going on. So this is the updated playoffs right now. If the season ended today, right? We still got Week 18, obviously, but this would be the playoff picture right now. So the AFC side, first round bye, Kansas City Chiefs, obviously 15-1 record, absolutely phenomenal. The 7th seed, Broncos, at number 2, Bills, right? Number 6, Chargers, at number 3, Ravens, and then number 5, Steelers going up against number 4, Texans. That's the AFC side. That would be the matchups if the NFL season ended today. And that's the AFC side. So, yep, Miami under the cups there. So the AFC scenarios, this is what I want to talk about real quick. So Baltimore can clinch the AFC North Division title and the number 3 seed. They need Baltimore and win or tie, or they need a Pittsburgh loss, win or tie. Or loss, a Pittsburgh loss or tie. Pittsburgh can clinch the AFC North Division title and number 3 seed with a Pittsburgh win and a Baltimore loss. So they need both scenarios, Pittsburgh, if they want to clinch the division and get to that number 3 seed. Denver can clinch a playoff berth with a Denver win or tie, or a Miami loss or tie, plus a Cincinnati loss or tie. So really, Denver just needs to win their game against the Chiefs, which is going to be very tough to do. I mean, they're playing at home. That might help out a little bit. But if that's not the case, then Miami needs to lose and Cincinnati needs to lose next week. So a lot of scenarios there for the Denver Broncos to make it to the playoffs. Miami can clinch a playoff berth with a Miami win plus a Denver loss. So Denver needs to lose and Miami needs to win for the Dolphins to get in. Cincinnati can clinch a playoff berth with a Cincinnati win plus a Denver loss plus a Miami loss or tie. So lots of scenarios there for the Bengals. They're going to be playing their hearts out. They are. So you got that going on. So now that NFC side. So NFC, like I said, if the season ended today, This is not the legit matchups. If the season ended yesterday, or today, rather, Lions would get the first round bye. Number 7 Packers will go up against number 2 Eagles. Number 6 Washington Commanders will go up against number 3 LA Rams. And number 5 Vikings will go up against the number 4 team, number 4th seed Buccaneers. So then the scenarios for the NFC side. We covered the AFC. We got to cover the NFC. So some scenarios here. So Tampa Bay can clinch the NFC South division title with a Tampa Bay win or tie, or an Atlanta loss or tie. So you got that. Minnesota can clinch the NFC North division title and the NFC's number 1 seed, lone first round bye, and home field advantage with a Minnesota win. Obviously, like I said, they're going to come in guns blazing next Sunday at Ford Field. They're on a mission. Lions defend the den, man. You guys, you got to get ready for that. They're a dangerous team right now. So you have that for Minnesota, and then Atlanta can clinch the NFC South division with an Atlanta win plus a Tampa Bay loss. So Tampa Bay and Atlanta fighting for that NFC South title. And then for the tiebreakers, Detroit is ahead of Minnesota in the NFC North based on head-to-head record. Obviously 1-0. Beat them earlier this year. So, yeah, playoffs are going to be exciting, man. Week 18 is going to be exciting. Sunday Night Football, man. Lions, Vikings. Let's go, Lions. Beat those guys. So you have that. And that's the NFL for you. We got to hop over to college football because we got some bowl games on today. We got the Relia Quest Bowl between Michigan and Alabama. We'll get into that in a little bit. That's on in 45 minutes, so on ESPN. So check that one out. But I want to talk about a little bit about the college football playoff. So the first round of college football playoff, I think we can all agree, was absolute garbage. Boring. A lot of those games were blowouts. Just not good football whatsoever. So hopefully the second round of these college football playoffs are much more entertaining, right? So yeah, just a review. I know I mentioned this last week, but just a recap. So Notre Dame beating Indiana 27-17. Penn State dominating SMU 38-10. Texas handling their business against Clemson 38-24, and then Ohio State absolutely crushed Tennessee at home 42-17. That game was god awful. They saved that game till the end too. Unbelievable. Not disgusting. Today we have the Fiesta Bowl. New Year's Eve, baby. You know, last football game of the season for college football game of the season. You got number 6 Penn State going up against number 3 Boise State. Ashton Jeanty, the best running back in the country. We'll see if he can handle Penn State in their defense, especially the red zone defense, one of the best in college football. State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, 7:30 p.m. ESPN. These two teams combine all time in the Fiesta Bowl, a 10-0 record. Penn State's 7-0 in this game, and Boise State's 3-0 in this game. I mentioned that last week. So I did pick Penn State. I'm sticking with Penn State in this one. So you have that. Today, 7:30. Check that one out. That's the Fiesta Bowl, the college football playoff quarterfinals of that. And then to open up 2025, the new year, we got 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 college football playoff quarterfinal games. You got the Peach Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl between Texas and Arizona State. I'm sticking with Texas. I picked them last week. They're playing tomorrow at 1 p.m. on ESPN. So that's going to be an interesting game. Yeah, I don't know, man. You know, Arizona State, you know, could play upset, but Texas, that offense looks very dangerous right now. I don't care if you have Quinn Ewers in there, if you have Arch Manning in there. They're looking, both. That offense is really good right now. So college football quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl, the iconic Rose Bowl. You know, a lot of great games played at Pasadena, California over the years. This one's no different. Ohio State going up against the number 1 team in the country. They've been the number 1 team since mid-October. The Oregon Ducks, defending Big Ten champions. First year in the Big Ten for Oregon. 5 p.m. This game's going to start on ESPN. Last time these two played was in October. It was October 13th. Oregon won 32-31. Arguably the best college football game during the regular season. So Ohio State looking for revenge against Oregon. I picked Oregon But watch out for Ohio State, man. I think they're still a little upset about unranked Michigan beating them for the 4th straight year back in November. But on top of that, I think they're on a mission too. So watch out for Ohio State, but Oregon, that offense is dangerous. So is Ohio State's, but Oregon, number 1 team in the country for almost 3 months now. There's a reason behind that. They win this one. It's going to be a classic matchup. I mean, it's the Rose Bowl, right? One of the most iconic games to be played, not just in college football, but in sports history. So this one's going to be great. I got Oregon winning this one. And then the All-State Sugar Bowl, the last game for tomorrow to start off 2025. You got Notre Dame going up against Georgia. I picked Notre Dame. If you guys remember, I picked Notre Dame to win this one against Georgia. Crazy, right? I'm sticking with them. I'm picking the Fighting Irish to beat the Bulldogs. No Carson Beck. Gunnar Stockton, backup quarterback for Georgia. He's got to find a way to lead his team. And he might. I mean, we've seen it in the past. Jalen Hurts goes down in the championship game many years ago against Georgia. And Tua Tagovailoa led that team to the championship. So anything can happen. But I got Notre Dame winning this one. They're playing the Caesars Superdome, in New Orleans, 8:45 on ESPN. So all these games tomorrow night are on ESPN. You got the Fiesta Bowl tonight, 7:30 on ESPN. And then in a little while, you got Michigan going up against Alabama in the Relia Quest Bowl. Yeah, I know. Nothing huge, nothing major, nothing to get excited about, right? But hey, we at least made it to a bowl game. So good for Michigan. They are a huge underdog, though. Alabama comes into this game. They are 16.5-point favorites, and this is all according to CBS.com. So that worries me a little bit. I will still go with Michigan, but Alabama, how they are, right? They remember that college football playoff semifinal game last year when we won 27-20 in a thrilling matchup in overtime. To send us to the national championship game to play Washington, and then we obviously all know how that ended. Michigan, national champions, right? A little different this year. We're not even in a discussion, but we got Alabama. Let's just play for pride, boys. Michigan, let's just beat Alabama. Let's beat these guys. But yeah, that game's starting at noon on ESPN. So go blue. I got them beating Alabama, despite being a 16.5-point underdog. Anything can happen. It's college football. So we have that. And that's it. That is my last episode of 2024. I can't believe we're already going into 2025. So with that being said, thank you for joining me as always. You guys are amazing. Going into the new year, 2025, as most of you know, I'm embarking on a career in broadcasting. I love sports. A lot of you know this. It's pretty obvious. My show is a sports podcast. So ding, 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 light bulb moment, right? But I love being around sports. I will love watching the game, any game, football, baseball, basketball, UFC, boxing, hockey, discussing sports with my friends, my family, people I've known. In this program, I've been doing a broadcasting program for a few months now. I've met some great people. Michael Madden, he's the founder of the BSMG network, the Broadcasters and Sportscasters Mentoring Group. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this program. I love doing broadcasting. I love doing my podcast, and I've worked with some of the best guys in the business. David Brody, he helped me so much doing this podcast, getting better, getting more views, being more exciting, having more personality, right? Have fun with it. He always told me that. Have fun with it. Don't treat it like a job. And I've done it ever since he's helped me. And he helped me for 3 months, and he did a wonderful job. So David Brody, thank you so much. Shout out to you, my friend. And then another mentor of mine I've been working with for over a month now, Dan Leach. That guy, you talk about personality. That he's full of personality. I've listened to his broadcasts, WHMI 93.5 out in Howell, Michigan, by the way. So look that up. Dan Leach, Dan the Squatch Leach. So look him up. The guy's amazing. Already, a month working with him. I learned so much from him, and he's one of the nicest guys I've met. And I know he's going to help me get to the next level in my broadcasting career. This is what I want to do. You know, I'm 28 years old. I got to stop messing around. Broadcasting is it. I'm not, no plan B, no second option, no backup plan. Broadcasting, sports broadcasting. I want to call games. I want to call fights. I want to call the Super Bowl in 10 years. That is very possible. Just got to have that mindset. Got to have that work ethic. So as I go into 2025, as all of us go into 2025, I hope you guys have some goals you want to attain. I hope you guys, you know, have a better, perhaps, year than you did this year. And if you had a great year this year, hopefully 2025 is better, right? And if you had a crappy year this year, well, then 2025, it's a whole new beginning. It's a fresh start, right? That's how I view it. 2024 for me, you know what? Not bad, because I finally found something I'm passionate about, and it's this. My podcast, sports broadcasting, calling the games, being around coaches, being around the athletes, you know, being around the action, man. It's awesome. So thank you again for joining me today on this episode. You guys already know the drill. The video version of this episode is going to be available on my YouTube page at Guys Time with the Bryce, and then the audio version will be available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to the podcast, baby. It's going to be there. Just type in Guys Time with the Bryce. So, yeah, last episode of 2024. Tomorrow will be 2025. So, a lot of great things happened to me this year. I finally found my passion. Now you gotta work towards it. Now you gotta get the ball moving, man. Gotta go. And I hope you guys had a great year this year. Hopefully 2025 is better for a lot of you. And if you guys, like I said, if you guys had a great year this year, keep on going into 2025. So the Bryce is out. Happy New Year to all of you guys. Peace. You guys are amazing, and I will be back next year. So be on the lookout for that. All right, the Bryce is out. Take care, guys. Have a safe last day of 2024. Watch some football. Spend time with your family and friends. And Happy New Year. Peace. Go Lions. Go Blue.